Welcome to The Explainer. We're jumping right into a really fascinating recent report today that maps out a massive, totally transformative new era for India's hospital sector. We're looking at a fundamental shift in how healthcare infrastructure is built on just a gigantic scale. And, this matters immensely, because how a nation of over 1.4 billion people overhauls its medical systems, that could very well become the ultimate testing ground for global healthcare innovation. So, if you're into the intersection of physical infrastructure and digital innovation, you're in the right place.
It's the pretty monumental question, isn't it? How do you actually upgrade healthcare for an entire nation, especially one with a population as vast as India's, right as it enters an aggressive new cycle of economic growth? You can't exactly just slap a Band-Aid on it or make tiny little tweaks. To figure this out, we've got to look at recent findings on how India is tackling infrastructure and tech at a completely staggering scale.
Well, a newly released report distills the whole strategy into one really powerful takeaway. India's hospital sector has officially entered a brand new growth cycle, and it's being fueled by two massive, deeply intertwined forces that are just completely reshaping patient care. It's not just about getting bigger, right? It's about fundamentally changing the very nature of how care is delivered.
Section 1. A new growth cycle. Sustained evolution. So, what does a new growth cycle actually mean here? In this context, it isn't just some brief spike in profits or a temporary building boom. It's a sustained, systemic evolution. The sector has completely moved past its old plateaus and is accelerating on a totally new trajectory. And the secret behind this momentum? It literally comes down to the number 2. Rather than relying on just one catalyst, like, say, a sudden influx of cash or a single policy change, the report points out that this cycle is powered by exactly 2 distinct complementary engines. And the real magic? They are firing at the exact same time. It's a highly coordinated dual-engine upgrade.
Section 2. Expanding physical hospital capacity, the physical baseline.
Okay, let's look at that first engine, which is basically the essential, tangible brawn of the whole operation. I mean, you can have all the brilliant medical theory in the world, but if you don't have a physical bed or a sterile clinic to actually treat a patient in, it's useless. Expanding physical capacity is the absolute baseline needed to even start reshaping care. We're talking sheer physical growth here. The report highlights massive infrastructure projects pushing way out into Tier 2 and Tier 3 cities, actively moving away from that old over-reliance on a few crowded urban hubs. It's all about building modern regional multi-specialty centers and adding thousands and thousands of beds right where the population actually lives. It's the literal foundation for everything else.
But here is where it gets incredibly interesting. Just think about the logistics for a second. What happens when you build massive new facilities, open thousands of beds, and suddenly have to maximize their efficiency on day one? If you build all that brawn without upgrading the nervous system, you're just going to create a chaotic maze. You could end up with giant hospitals plagued by the exact same administrative bottlenecks of the past, just scaled up. And that exact challenge? That leads us right to the second engine.
Section 3. The AI healthcare revolution, the healthcare brain.
So if capacity expansion is the brawn, artificial intelligence is absolutely the brain. This is where the massive scale of physical expansion meets cutting-edge digital tech. The report explicitly identifies AI as the co-driver of this new era alongside capacity expansion. And notice the phrasing there. AI isn't replacing doctors or physical hospitals, it's the co-pilot. How? By stepping in to manage these massive new operational loads. We're talking AI handling predictive scheduling so beds never sit empty. It's doing automated supply chain forecasting so critical meds are always stocked across these huge networks. Clinically, it's assisting diagnostics, acting like a tireless second set of eyes to scan thousands of images faster and way more precisely. AI is right there in the driver's seat.
The strategy to integrate these two forces is incredibly methodical. Step 1, establish the physical infrastructure. Get the doors open, get the beds in place. Step 2, layer in AI to manage and completely revolutionize the delivery of care inside those walls. The AI is the secret sauce that ensures all this new physical capacity is pushed to its absolute maximum potential, optimizing everything from patient flow to resource allocation.
Section 4. Reshaping patient care, the ultimate goal.
Now, the crucial point is how these two engines actually lock together to achieve that ultimate goal. Because, let's be real, a new growth cycle means absolutely nothing if the patient experience doesn't drastically improve. When you put these pieces together, the dynamic is incredible. By taking the tangible brawn of new physical beds and combining it with the digital intelligence of AI, you don't just get a bigger hospital system. You completely reshape the patient experience. The care isn't just more available, it's fundamentally smarter, it's faster, and it's way more responsive to individual needs. And this perfectly captures the shift in thinking. In the past, traditional scaling basically meant that if a hospital got crowded, you just built another wing. You just added more physical rooms. But honestly, that often just gave patients and staff a much longer hallway to get lost in. The new growth cycle completely upends that. It moves away from just more to a paradigm of more and smarter through AI-powered environments. So instead of just a standard new room, you get a smart room. Patient monitoring is dynamically analyzed, and staff are predictably alerted before a crisis even happens. It is a radical transformation of the actual healing environment.
Section 5. What happens next? The future trajectory.
So, taking all of this in, what happens next? Well, based on the explicit findings of this report, the future trajectory for India's hospital sector is firmly set. We aren't talking about some distant potential future anymore. This is an active, ongoing transformation. To summarize the core findings, India has officially kicked off a new growth cycle. It's leveraging massive physical growth to push its critical, life-saving reach deeper into the population than ever before. And simultaneously, it's utilizing AI to optimize those massive systems and drive unprecedented efficiency. Pulling off a dual-engine upgrade of this magnitude at the exact same time is exceptionally rare. Together, it's completely redefining the standard of care.
Which leaves us with a really fascinating final thought to chew on. If this dual approach successfully reshapes care for a population as massive and incredibly complex as India's, is the rest of the world ready to follow suit? Could this specific synergy of physical brawn and AI brain become the ultimate global blueprint for upgrading public health literally everywhere? It's a massive question, and it's one we're definitely going to be keeping an eye on as this cycle unfolds. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and keep questioning how the world is being built around you.